Hello and a warm welcome to Friday afternoon's talk from the kitchen table. Alison Sound here, Team Vicar in Melksham's Team Ministry. It's really good to join together in this way across the airwaves again. I was preparing for today's talk and a couple of things were running through my head. One is that yesterday I celebrated an anniversary of 10 years being a priest. And 10 years have gone by amazingly quickly. But my life had changed beyond all recognition when I was first called into life in ministry. It was the very last thing I ever thought I would be doing with my life. Nobody was more surprised than me. A, that God called, and B, that other people said they could see it too. There's never a day goes by where I don't feel blessed by being in the role that I'm in. It's such a privilege to do this strange work of being a priest. Life at the moment is full of change for so many people. We talked yesterday about all those who have been made unemployed, about the difficulties that brings, the worries, the anxieties, the fears of what the future might hold. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking about change being something that can be such a blessing as well as something that fills you with fear. But actually, change is what life is all about. I don't know about you, but you only need to maybe look at your mobile phone to see how many things have changed in the last few years. When I had my first one, it was a bit like a brick, and now they are slim and thin and do everything that my huge big computer used to struggle to do 15 years ago. Change is all around us in every direction. And as we are coping with COVID-19 and facing changes in our society and in our world, we have to think about how we are coping with that change. We talked many times at this kitchen table about the resilience that we need. And today we had some friends over for a picnic in the garden. And as they were there with their children, Jeremiah was playing with a Jenga and building a tower. And I thought, wow, that really is life in a Jenga tower. In order for life to change and for us to move through it, we have to sometimes take away some of the things that we've been very familiar with, that maybe we've built our personality and our life around, and we have to move it in order to change and make something new. Now that is really easy when it's a Jenga block, but when it's your life, it's much harder, isn't it? But for many people at this time, the change will be painful change, like the loss of a loved one and having to find a new way of being you in the world without the one that you love the most beside you. For other people, it might be about losing that job, that sense of identity, that knowledge of who they are tied up with what they do. But we have to find new ways of knowing who we are. The secret, I think, is in being rooted. What are you rooted in? Is it about where you come from? Never work with things you haven't tried. Ooh. Is it about where you're from? I'm Scottish, and actually that's really important to me. It's part of my identity. It forms a lot about who I see myself as. But I'm also a Scottish person living in England. And until quite recently, I also thought of myself as a European. There are many aspects of Alison. I'm a priest, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a nana, I'm a friend, I'm a baker, I'm a reader, I'm so many different things. But when I'm rooted in knowing who I am, who the core of me is, then I am free to explore other things. That's true of each and every one of us. When we truly start to know who we are, and I think even more powerfully when we know who we are in God, then we have a sense of ourself. And it's much harder for the world to rock us around, for the world to have us tumbling and falling and giving up, just like a tower of Jenga. Have you been the one to pull that last lot out when everything tumbles down? Life can feel like that, can't it? But when you're rooted, when you know that you are loved, when you know who you are, when you know that you have the strength inside you to cope with whatever pain, anguish, change you have to cope with, then things are possible. We can move beyond the things that we have known in the past, and we can build new towers. We can find new ways of living and expressing ourselves. That's not leaving behind the things we've pulled out, but it's about using them to make us stronger as we go forward. That's what we're going to need as we go forward from COVID-19. Whether it's on a personal basis or as a nation, we're going to need to know what roots us, what our values are, what really truly matters. Whether it's about us caring for one another more than stuff. Whether it's about listening to one another more than rushing past. It's a society that maybe is one that we thought we could only dream of these days. But it's for you and for me to rebuild it, however we choose to do that. There'll be pain in there. There's no doubt there will be pain in this new world that we're building, with the changes to how we live our lives. But rooted in the power of God's love, with the courage, she says, the courage to move on in the love of Jesus, and to know that whatever comes before us, we are not on our own. Then we can build a new future, a new life, a new way of loving, or maybe it's the old way of loving. Whatever it is, it's there for us. And just like being 10 years on in my ministry, every day a learning curve, every day a new experience of blessing, of sorrow sometimes, of reaching and touching people. It's a privilege that 10 years on I am truly blessed by. It's also a different way of life than I ever dreamed. So if you're having to readjust your dreams, if you're having to rethink your life, just have faith. You never know what's around the corner, and it might just be the most exciting journey you could ever imagine. Do take care. Sunday morning, we'll be there at 10 o'clock. So do come and join us with tea and cake, coffee, whatever you would like to eat and drink as we share a meal of remembrance. Do remember to book your cream teas. Think of 6 people you would like to gather in your gardens or in a park or a picnic somewhere, and order some cream teas and we'll deliver them to your door. Everything's on screen, as always. Call if you need me. God bless. Talk to you soon.